Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome to the Last Word Sports. I really want to talk about Zach Wilson. If you watch my previous videos, you might already know from that class, he was one of my favorites. When I ranked them, evaluated, I watched them all. I watched a ton. It wasn't just like pick and choose the highlights. I watched every game I could of all those guys. And I thought Lawrence and Wilson were 1A, 1B. Like, they were attached at the hip. And I thought Fields was 2. And I understood Lawrence 1, Wilson 2. I didn't understand taking Lance before Fields. And you can see the 49ers are regretting it. But this is not about Justin Fields. This is about Zach Wilson. And is it over for him? I mean, he's getting benched for Mike White. No offense to Mike White, but he's not somebody that you would think could take the job. We've already seen what Mike White can do. He's somebody who, he'll come in there, he'll light it up, and be like, oh, this guy's franchise. And then next game, he'll stink it up, and it's like, maybe not. It's so back and forth. It's almost like almost like a Case Keenum. But does this mean it's over for Zach Wilson? And is it his fault? Is it the Jets' fault? It's not over for Zach Wilson. I'm going to say that right now. What is wrong with Zach Wilson? It's not his play. Now, before you say, he's been terrible. Yeah, he has been terrible. But so many other second-year quarterbacks have been terrible as well. Davis Mills is getting benched for performance. Mac Jones has gotten benched for performance. But he got back out there because they realized there was nothing better. And Zach Wilson, no, he's not getting bench performance. And I'll explain that later. So, it's not over for Zach Wilson because the dude has so much potential. And you hear it, it's shoved down our throats. He's got Mahomes-esque arm. He does. And right now he reminds me of more of Josh Allen, though. Because when Mahomes came in, he was accurate. I mean, Mahomes was accurate. He had a live wire arm. He was accurate. It was just a matter of, can he do decision-making well? And he has Josh Allen. He's not accurate. He has a live arm, but he wasn't accurate. He is now, but he wasn't when he first came in. And that was his problem his first 2 years. Zach Wilson, not accurate. He's got an arm. He can extend plays, but he's not accurate. So can we see this giant leap from Zach Wilson like we did from Josh Allen? I believe we can. But this goes to my point of, but will he, take that step? And this might be paired with why he's getting benched. He's not getting benched for performance. And you say, why in the world do you say that? I think he's getting benched because of those comments he said, not comments, that comment where he said, no. When they asked him, do you think that your team, your offense, which put up 3 points, do you think you disappointed or let down your defense? And he said no. Now, you might look at that and you might say, oh, how dare he? That's such an idiotic response. And it is. Granted, it is. Anytime you don't score more points than the other team, you've let down your defense. But when he said that, I didn't take it as, no, the offense played well. If you looked at past games of Zach Wilson earlier in the year, but when they were losing, well, not really when they were losing because they've all kind of been 500 until they went on a winning streak. But Zach Wilson, one game, I believe, threw 3 or 4 interceptions. And everyone was killing him. They lost that game, and he looked terrible because he threw some of the interceptions. And then since then, Zach Wilson has actually been pretty good with interceptions. He's limiting it to 1 or none a game. And he's done a good job of that. He's advanced so far in his game. I think that's what he meant when he said no. He said, I didn't turn the ball over. Because if I remember correctly, he didn't throw an interception in that game. They didn't move the ball at all. He missed some wide open throws, but he didn't turn it over. I mean, the Patriots only scored a field goal and a punt return. They didn't have great field position based on a turnover. And I believe that's what he meant when he said he didn't let down the defense. So that's why he's getting benched. But I think that leadership mentality to just take it on no matter what and have that kind of presence of mind to be like, yeah, we let him down. We didn't score enough points. That if that's what Zach is missing, and I didn't know that he was missing that in college. I'm going to be honest. Watching it, I thought he had those kind of qualities. The team seemed to play for him. And if he is missing that, then he's not going to get better. He's not going to be Josh Allen. Because that team freaking loves Josh Allen. Granted, I don't think they loved him his first 2 years. You can go back and watch. I don't think they did. So I think a lot of people compare Trevor Lawrence to Josh Allen right now. I think Zach Wilson is a more accurate comparison. And can you see that leap, though, from a guy who might lack those leadership capabilities and motivation to keep going? I don't know if you will. Does he have the potential to? Oh, yeah, for sure. We all know that, though. He's missing wide-open throws. If you want to say performance, then, in my opinion, that's just stupid. Because if you're the New York Jets, Robert Saleh, are you really playing for this year? You think you have a chance to win the Super Bowl with Mike White? With Joe Flacco? No. There's not a chance in heck you are going to win a Super Bowl with Mike White or Joe Flacco. Granted, Joe Flacco's won a Super Bowl. I get it. But it's not going to happen. The only chance you have of winning a Super Bowl in the next 5 years is if Zach Wilson matures to the player that we thought he could be. And the only way he does that is if you play and develop him. I understand if this is a one-game thing. If this is a one-game thing, great. You gave him a whooping. He's back out there. And hopefully that lights a fire on him. It flips a switch. And hopefully he gets back out there and he plays well. But you're kind of you're fitting Zach Wilson a square peg into a round hole. Because if you watch Zach Wilson with BYU, he was slinging it. He was slinging it around. He carried that team. He was throwing it all over the place. He was throwing it down the field. He was throwing it anywhere he wanted. With the Jets, they're like, don't turn the ball over. Make these easy passes. And we'll run the ball and play good defense. That's not who Zach Wilson is. It doesn't fit. So they got to adjust it for him. Granted, they have enough weapons for him where it shouldn't matter. And I'm not saying that it's their fault that he's not playing well because he's missing stuff. But, I mean, if you look at what the Bears are doing with Justin Fields, they're adjusting their offense to fit him. I don't think the Jets are doing that. If you look at why are they benching him for Mike White, yes, I believe it's a slap on the wrist. I don't think it'll last. It better not last more than a game. Because if it does, then Robert Saleh he's just not smart. And I get it, you're saying he's trying to build a culture. Well, listen, when you say that, guess what? Guess who drafted Zach Wilson? Robert Saleh. And I get the GM, his mind escapes me at the moment. That doesn't matter. But Robert Saleh, that guy, Zach Wilson is not drafted unless Robert Saleh says okay. I'm going to be completely honest. The GM and Robert Saleh, that's their pick. They both had to decide Zach Wilson's our guy. You want to build a culture, and that's your quarterback. That's who you chose. That is your pick. I don't want to hear he's not exemplifying what we want to be at the Jets. Guess what? You chose him. I don't know what you thought he was going to be or how, I guess he deceived you with how he was. I don't know. But that's his pick. And I don't want to hear that he inherited it, because it's not one of those situations where he inherited a bad situation and he's trying to get his quarterback in there. That's his quarterback. That's his quarterback. Mike White, if this is a slap on the wrist for Zach Wilson to get him motivated, awesome, great. That's fine. I understand. Mike White can win you a game against the Bears if you support him well. Mike White will make but if this is to win now, here's the thing why I think it might be to win now, and it's scary to me, is because right now the Jets, all they need to win, because they have such a talented roster, is make the on-schedule plays. And that's great. Yeah, you'll win a game. You'll beat bad teams. You'll lose to good teams. You'll beat bad teams. You might win a couple against good teams. But when it comes to playoff times, you're not going to do anything. You don't have a good offensive line. You can't do on-schedule plays all game long. You're going to need to leave the pocket, throw on the run, do some stuff, some playmaking from that quarterback position that Mike White can't do, honestly. But one person that can is Zach Wilson. Does he do it consistently? No. Does he win from the pocket consistently? No. And I get how that might frustrate you right now, because you think we just need a consistent pocket passer right now who will make what's available we need that guy right now, somebody who will take what's available. Mike White can do that. Joe Flacco can even do that. But the thing is, if that's his plan, he is sacrificing his future for the present, and that is not smart. Not smart. I really hope it's just a slap on the wrist for Zach. I really do. I mean, this whole point of the video, is it over for Zach Wilson? No. Is it Zach Wilson's fault? It is for his comments. Shouldn't have said it like that. Anytime the team scores more than your offense, take ownership. You're the quarterback. Take ownership. The fact that Garrett Wilson had a better answer than you and he's a wide receiver, no offense to wide receivers, I'm just saying the quarterback is supposed to take that on. That's not good. That doesn't show a level of maturity that he needs to succeed. Can he still succeed? Yeah, he can. For sure. Look at Josh Allen. I mean, Jalen Ramsey said he was one of the worst quarterbacks in the league his second year. And he was. But you see him have that huge jump, because he fixed his footwork and he was accurate. And maybe that's all Zach needs. Maybe he just needs a little tweak, another healthy offseason training camp, and maybe he'll get back to who he can be. Is it Robert Saleh's problem or fault? Kind of. He drafted him. I don't want to hear how it's not his fault or Zach Wilson sucks. They told him after that multiple interception game, just don't turn the ball over. And he didn't. He didn't. And that's what he meant. And he gets benched for those comments. Yes, stupid comments. You got to own up to it. But Robert Saleh, this is his guy. This is his guy. If it's a bust, it's because it's his guy. And what is that guy's name? Joe, I don't remember. The GM of the Jets. It's their pick. So it is their fault. Is this the best decision for the Jets? If it is a slap on the wrist, fine. Let it be a slap on the wrist. That's okay. You get Zach Wilson back in there next week and let him, whether you're going to live or die by Zach Wilson for this year is the way it should be. But if it is not a slap on the wrist and this is legit Saleh and the Jets' idea to win games, I think it's because you live in a big market and you feel that pressure of we're in New York, we got to win, even though their stadium's in New Jersey, but it's like we got to win. And it's like, yeah, but you can win, but you're going to be out of there in 5 years if you ain't doing anything in the playoffs, which you're not going to do with Mike White at quarterback. I'm sorry. I love Mike White. Great Western Kentucky University player. Awesome. But you can't do that with him back there. And it is, if that is your plan for this year, because I want to win as many as we can this year with Mike White at quarterback because he'll make the wide open plays. I'm sorry, but that's the wrong decision. Not even sorry, that's the wrong decision. That's the wrong decision. And I hope that's not why. Hope it's a slap on the wrist. It's not over for Zach Wilson. Give him time. I know it's going to be the cliche thing to point to Josh Allen as the redemption story and the success story. Even look at Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones was a turnover machine. And look at him. He's developed into a game manager type quarterback. You do see these stories where guys make a jump from their second to third year. And I think it can happen with Zach Wilson. It's not over for him. Am I saying he's going to be a success story? He's going to turn out to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league? No, I'm not saying that. But my point is you cannot say that he's not going to be that. We do not know yet. But he's got to show a lot more maturity. That's essentially all I'm saying. And, so happy Thanksgiving, guys. And, I'll see you in the next one.